16, turn me up.
And just like that, we are back. Rejuvenated, refreshed, uninterrupted. Views from Section 400 sports conversation on tap for this one. We got the Sweet 16 coming up. MLB opening days right around the corner here. NFL, some pretty wild news going on over there as well. But let's jump right in to the winners and losers. It's what everybody tunes into every week. Brian, you seem in a great mood tonight. So what's your winner of the week?
My winner of the week. Well, you know what? I'll start with loser of the week because I am a little grumpy tonight. So it's ballparks without a roof. Somehow, some way, we're living in 2024 and baseball stadiums are built without retractable roofs or full roofs. The Mets and the Phillies games, opening day games, got canceled today. Steve Cohen doing all this talk about how he wants to fix the Long Island Railroad, fix the Willets Point subway station, get rid of the chop shops around the stadium. I don't give a shit. Just build a roof. I'm sick of seeing rain delays and postponements in 2024. Every other stadium has it. These stadiums are air conditioned now. Like, you can have the roof open if you want to. Just spend the money, get a roof. I was sad looking at that news today. I was looking forward to watching the Mets tomorrow.
You were actually looking forward to that?
Yes, they win on opening day. They're the best opening day team in the league.
Hey, man, I got Quick Quintana in fantasy. So, man, I disagree. I think baseball should be outside.
Oh, retractable roofing. It doesn't have to be a full roof.
I know. I reassessed after you said retractable. It makes sense. It's probably, I mean, dude, it can't be cheap. And then all these stadiums that have, say been like, how are you going to put a roof on Citi Field? How are you going to put a roof on Citizens Bank Park? I mean, the Citizens Bank Park was built in 2004.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Are you CBP? You see how that place gets in the playoffs?
Yeah, just build a new one.
I'll take the playoff advantage over people having to wait one extra day for baseball, which honestly I don't hate because now I can enjoy March Madness.
Brian, you can't just build a new stadium.
Sure you can. There's so much money in this sport now.
There is a lot of money in the sport, but they gotta give it all to the big contract guys. They're not spending it on the stadiums. Stadiums get paid for by the cities, man.
Not all the time.
I would say there's a huge approval process that goes in place on that whole thing. But I agree, like, it's annoying. I think the retractable roof when your team's ready for a new stadium should be a must-have. But to just go and like Citizens Bank Park isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
It's the only sport that still has to do this. It's stupid.
But they're not losing any money by doing it. They're still playing 162 games.
The people that buy the tickets, sometimes they can't go if they're in town for one day. It's just like, it's dumb. Just build roofing. I'm sick of rain and seeing rain delays and having to look at the radar on my phone to see if they're going to play tonight. And if they do play tonight, it's at like 11 o'clock, so I have to go to bed. And if they don't, it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Just build roofs.
I agree, man. I hate the rain delays as well, but at the same time, baseball outside, retractable roof ruins it for me. I need full-blown outdoors. And it's a nightmare. Like, oh, we're expecting clear skies tonight. They leave it open. It starts raining. Then you got to have it's not a rain delay. It's an hour and a half roof delay while the roof slowly tracks over the stadium. So there's a whole other nightmare involved in that. We see it with Toronto when they have to put the roof on. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It is what it's baseball, man.
Yeah, I hate it. But I'll move on. My winner of the week is going to be Paige Beckers. Her coach called her better than Caitlin Clark. He was asked, what makes you think that we can win it all this year? Or what makes you think you can win it all this year? And he said, we have the best player in the world. Clearly talking about Beckers. And people forget, I mean, she was him, or I guess her, before Caitlin Clark came around. And then she had all the shit with her leg, tore up her ACL. And she's finally back now. And I think she had like 30, 15, and 10 the other day. Like, hey, UConn's a 3 seed. I got a 3 seed in the men's tournament winning in Creighton. Maybe I should ride the 3 seed with UConn in the women's and just watch Paige Beckers. Caitlin Clark's also been annoying, like really annoying in this tournament, like yelling at refs. And even her dad was like, yeah, take her out that one game.
I like Beckers. Caitlin Clark's annoying, man. I'm with you there, Brian. She's been a little too chatty, a little too out there for me.
Just hate how she's always yelling at, like, she had, like, even her headbutts. Like, she headbutted a ball after she got triple teamed. And I understand like your emotions are high, but like you're clearly just playing that up for the camera or something. So it's just little shit like that that have been annoying me. But she's still just an incredible basketball player. She just set the record for most points in a career or something. But I thought she already had that. But I don't know.
Is UConn a great value play to win it all? Plus 1,200?
Might be.
Well, dude, South Carolina's minus 155 to win it all. Like, are they that good?
I mean,
I
they
know
haven't
they're
lost.
good.
They haven't lost a game this season. They've come close. You know, LSU has come close against them. There was one other game I watched where they, came down to the wire. But dude, undefeated. That goes for something. I think LSU has a shot to beat them. Maybe UConn, but maybe Caitlin Clark in Iowa. I mean, there's not too many teams that can really compete with them.
Was it LSU or Tennessee in the SEC championship against them? If you know, well, but whoever it was,
they played them both to win it. And
they
both games, that was the second game I was thinking of, Tennessee. Both of those games were that close.
they left the one girl wide open at the top of the key with like 0.5 left, and I understand I think it must have been LSU because it was Kim Mulkey talking about it, but she was like, yeah, she hasn't shot a three all year. Like, what other? You don't see that anywhere else. You don't leave someone wide open with
Yeah, that was wild.
like I don't care if she hasn't shot a three all year. She's a good basketball player. She's there for a reason. You can't leave her wide open. So yeah, that was dumb. But yeah,
Either way, not to go on a rant about women's basketball, but maybe laying a unit on UConn to win it all. I mean, I like Paige Beckers. I just, I'm not on the Caitlin Clark is annoying train yet. Could get there, but not for me yet.
Winner for me this week, the LA Lakers. I know I don't talk too much basketball around or NBA around here, but I gotta tell you, I tuned into the game last night. This was Tuesday night. Lakers in Milwaukee playing Dame, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, who had himself a day. The Lakers went out there, no LeBron James, Austin Reeves, AD, and D'Angelo Russell were insane together. Those three, I'm pretty sure, dropped 30 apiece, if not high 20s. AD had 30 and 20 or something like that. Those guys put on without LeBron on the floor in Milwaukee against a fully loaded Bucks team. No one was sitting out for them. It was super impressive by them. I've been on record saying that I have no faith in the Lakers. They're not going to have the longevity to do it. It's all on LeBron's shoulders. This was a very impressive and statement win for them. Shout out the Lakers, dude. I might recant my statement. They might have a shot to do something in this playoff run, especially if LeBron's going to take a game off like this and they can still win. It's definitely a lot more promising than where I thought they were.
They were down 19 with 8 minutes left in the fourth in that game. I'm surprised you're going more towards the Lakers than you are at your guy that you hate over there in Milwaukee.
I didn't really understand one thing about Milwaukee, and that was it seemed like Damian Lillard wasn't playing enough minutes. And now I know in Portland he had to play like a full 40 minutes or something like that, 45 minutes, but when it comes to Milwaukee, they have a lot more players, a lot more role players that can step in and play, and I get that. But he needs to be on the floor taking those shots. Bobby Portis had himself a day, but he shouldn't have been shooting that many mid-range shots, from 20 feet out. All right, unless you're Steph Curry or an elite guy, you're not. He's Bobby Portis, right? Can we just think about that?
Put some respect on Bobby Portis here. He's a good player.
Bobby Portis is a pretty solid player.
But when you have Giannis and Dame and a step up from Portis, a step down from the other two guys, Chris Middleton, I mean, why is he shooting more than 10 shots a game?
Yeah,
get the ball.
Bucks, it doesn't make any sense what they're doing.
Get the ball in Dame's hands. Let Giannis go to work. Giannis looked really impressive off the ball and driving it to the basket, kicking it out. So it definitely seems like he's working on his game in game. They didn't need to win this one as much as the Lakers did, but an awesome game for them. It was an awesome game for the NBA. I mean, random Tuesday night, Bucks Lakers, no LeBron, still just a classic, honestly.
Yeah, TNT and Max are really getting the best out of that deal. 'Cause I know now the games are streaming on Max, and I only know that because I vulture off my parents' Max account. I refuse to buy that streaming service, but I will buy the Mount Cock when that comes out. But yeah, the Lakers, they might do the same thing they did last year. Get hot at the right time. Never know.
I'm not scared of the Lakers. The Lakers don't scare anybody. The other thing, though, I was going to say is the only reason I knew HBO was involved was because that's how you would have been able to watch the entire first game of the Dallas game that was on after the Lakers game because the game went into double OT. That was the only reason I knew because in the top right it said, oh, if you want to watch this, go check it out on Max.
Yep.
But, if you were a Dallas fan, you would have had to go. It was about a
IMAX.
quarter and a half. You had to go watch on the other site because the game went into double overtime. So, something for a Dallas fan, I guess.
Yeah, awesome game, though. Loser of the week. It's going to be these pro athletes and gambling addictions. I mean, what is going on? First, we have Shohei and Ippei and that whole debacle. He's just my business partner. We're not friends. He stole, he lied, all this stuff. I mean, come on. What's going on? And then, Brian, you want to give us a little bit more insight about this dude in the NBA who's been blowing cash, betting his unders, putting 500 grand on his unders? I mean, how stupid can you be?
Yeah, so
How stupid can you be?
How do they get caught, dude? Like, how are they not able to do this secretively?
well,
How
so
is it not able to be done?
Ippei, he did it to a bookie, and then he got caught because he stole from Otani and had to transfer the bookie money. This guy, Jonte Porter, who, by the way, brother of Michael Porter Jr., uh, he bet his unders on DraftKings and then went out with fake injuries on both days. He bet his unders. One of them, he banked in a 3, and people look back on it, you could see the look on his face, and it's like an oh shit look because I think his number was 3.5, and he accidentally banked in a 3. But then like he went out with a facial injury the one day, and he got hit like in the back of the neck, and he said his face got re-injured. But the way they caught him was DraftKings was looking through like their monthly statements, and they found an anomaly, and they're like, there were these 2 days where nobody ever bets on Jonte Porter props, and this was the #1 moneymaker on our website for these 2 days. So how does that happen? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the fucking guy bet his own unders or told his friends to bet his unders.
It's so dumb, dude. I mean, if you're really gonna do, I mean, it's the hand in the cookie jar, man. You want to grab one cookie, you might get away with it. You want to go in there and go grab 10 cookies in one sitting, man. They're gonna notice. Your hand's gonna get stuck. All right, you're not gonna be able to get any of them out. Can't be greedy.
If he really needed the money, his brother's on a max contract. Like he could have just asked him. He's just doing this to be a prick.
Dude, he's in the NBA. He doesn't need the money. I promise you, whether he's on a shorter deal, it's a hell of a lot more money than the common man's making.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though, is you see, I mean, look, I don't know this guy, but just what I would think is you see your brother flexing and having a max contract. You want to be like that. You don't got it like that. Maybe you result to that, but stupid shit. These guys got to stop betting on themselves. Honestly, hit me up in the DMs. I will do it for you secretly. I'll come drive by with some cash. Totally untraceable. Just let me know.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump into some winners and losers here. Relevant to this week, I'm going to go with Will Smith getting an absolute bag from the Dodgers. $140 million payday as a catcher. I don't think you really see that often in this day and age of baseball. So $140 million over 10 years, and the Dodgers keep printing money. Will Smith, great player. Great player. Probably, at one point in time, maybe he already is, I'm not sure, but soon enough will be considered the best catcher in baseball. I think some people still say Real Muto holds that title. I say Real Muto holds that title.
Not anymore. It's Will Smith.
But Will Smith is very close, and in Brian's case, thinks he is the best. But yeah, 140 million over 10 years. Congrats to Will Smith. He cashed in this week on a huge payday, and I guess W to the Dodgers because they just keep pulling money out of their ass.
Yeah, it's that deferred money on the Ohtani contract. There needs to be some kind of competitive balance rule put in where you can't backload a bunch of money because now we're seeing this. And I know it's
Dude,
really
they handed out like how much has it been, like over like close to $2 billion,
it's ridiculous. They
like
just
1.5 billion, like
it's
it's
just
got
not
to be over a
stopping.
billion.
And they already have Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and all these stars on the roster, and it's
They are trying. I mean, Will Smith, it's kind of he's been like a farm system guy for them, I think. So like it's not like they went out and got him. So like I can see that, but I don't know, man. They just are just handing money out. 140 million over 10 years. I guess that's an okay deal. What's that? 14 million a year? There's my
yeah,
math.
because I mean, you think towards the back end of that, he's really going to be pretty useless with those knees. Those
How
knees
old
are
is
going
he
to
now?
go.
Isn't he very young still?
He's probably like 25, 26. But I mean, his knees are going to go by like 33. You don't see these
Maybe the
catchers
last
last
like
very long.
2 years of the contract, he might not be that productive. But the first at least 6, 7, 8 years
Oh,
of that
yeah.
contract, he should be pretty stellar, superstar, the whole 9 yards. So, like I said, winner Will Smith getting a bag. Loser of the week, NFL related, but I won't take the biggest story. But just like honestly, the Giants franchise, and Brian, I know you're a huge Giants fan, but like lock up all this money to Daniel Jones. They give all this money, and then the Giants owner comes out and gives the green light to draft a quarterback this year after Daniel Jones is locked up, pretty much admitting that he's a disaster. They got stripped of Saquon, signed Brian Burns for whatever reason, and there's just a joke of a franchise. So another L by the Giants franchise this week.
They brought in Drew Lock, and they said it was an open quarterback competition. So they have no faith in Daniel Jones right now.
No faith.
Oh my God. Look, Matt, you didn't have to go there. You did.
They're the loser of like the month. They're the loser of the last 2 months. It's not it's not just 1 week.
Well, this week they lost a week again. They have a chance to win next week, but the owner coming out and giving the green light, like keep that behind closed doors. Why is that getting leaked?
Well, they already leaked that he had buyer's remorse about the Daniel Jones contract. He doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Oh my God.
Either way, L for them. Owner came out and gave the green light to draft a quarterback. So now they're going to waste more draft capital on probably a high pick on a quarterback. And they're probably not going to get anyone good. What are they going to get? Drake May? That guy's going to be a fraud.
I mean, at least
That's
it's not
Daniel Jones 2.0.
probably
Literally Daniel Jones 2.0.
At
Why,
least
are you
not
confident in them, Brian?
No, I said at least they're not the Commanders and that they're about to draft J.J. McCarthy at 2. I don't know
they're
why.
about to draft the LSU guy, I thought.
No, they said they want J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy's flying up the board right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like that's a poor man Zach Wilson.
Well,
It's like a poor man Desmond Ritter. I'd say he's comparable.
I like the Zach Wilson one more than the Desmond Ritter.
Yeah, but McCarthy won at least. Like Zach Wilson never.
I have zero faith. I have zero faith in JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, I hope Jaden Daniels somehow drops to the Giants because you guys hate him so much, and I hope he wins Rookie of the Year, and I could just laugh in your faces when he's going off in New York.
You know what, Brian? If there's one thing I can give you, when the Giants won their 2 most recent Super Bowls with Eli at the helm, they were joke franchises. They were a joke franchise then too. I mean, I know they had Eli, but Eli was a joke himself. Outside of that, you had a dude shoot himself in the leg. It was probably your best receiver during that stretch.
Could have gone back to back. They started 4-0, and then he shot himself in the leg.
The other best receiver you guys had was doing the salsa after every time he caught the football. I mean, you guys had some stellar defensive players between guys like Strahan and O.C. Umenyiora, but even when they're a joke of a franchise, they still pulled out 2 Super Bowl wins in the last 2 decades. So give you some little grievance there.
I
Dude,
guess.
the one Super Bowl, they shouldn't have even made the playoffs. They were like 8-9 or 8-8. They finished the
Both
year.
of them, they were
Yeah,
like 500.
it's the most
Nut.
ridiculous joke. So you want to call the Eagles Super Bowl run that they won a joke? That's a joke run. But whatever. That's just how
How?
sports go. How was what? The Giants? They were 8-8.
Teams make the playoffs at 8-8 all the time. To call it a joke, they beat an undefeated team in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that was pretty sick.
It was a joke.
They,
Total joke.
What? How is it a joke to beat an 18-0 team? You
It's just a
deserve
joke.
you
It
deserve
should
to win
never
the Super
happen.
Bowl if you're the only
Fluke.
team to beat the one team no one else has beaten all year.
Yeah, it's a fluke.
They lost by 3 in the last game of the regular season. They
Joke.
almost beat them twice.
Well,
Look,
maybe they
can you
should have
guys-
beaten the regular season because then they would have lost in the Super Bowl.
Can you guys just come together over the fact that your 3 recent Super Bowls have come against Tom Brady and the Patriots, that dynasty?
No, I hate the
Can
fact that they beat the Patriots. I was rooting for the Patriots in that Super Bowl because I wanted to be the only ones that did.
You're a petty motherfucker.
Yeah, I am.
And I'll be honest, I was rooting for the Patriots when they when the Giants beat them. So was that both times?
Yeah.
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 So I was rooting. I remember, I was a bit younger for the first one, but the second one, especially when the Patriots were undefeated, she was a huge Patriots fan for those 2 weeks.
Were those the only 3 Super Bowls that he lost?
Yep.
Eli Manning and Nick Foles, dude. Nuts.
Mm-hmm. Eli Manning, that second one, was statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the league that year. People forget that.
Whatever.
But
It's just the Eli Manning show. Let's jump in to some college basketball because after all the debacle we had last weekend with our picks, we have to relock in, guys. We have to dial in. The Sweet 16 is upon us. People rely on us, good, bad, or indifferent. People rely on our knowledge. And you can say what you want to say, but the amount of backlash I got from McNeese shows me that you motherfuckers care and are listening to the picks. And with that being said, let's jump into the first game, 7 o'clock. And the last show, I already got into how horrendous the time is. The game in Boston is going to be tipping off at 10:30 at night. We just talked about jokes. That's a joke. Clemson and Arizona, first game. I'll kick it off here, dude. PJ Hall, the transfer from Syracuse, Gerard, and the tall white guy, Shefflin, I think his name was. Love to see the white guys out there playing their hearts out, getting a job done. I used to be obsessed with Clemson back in the day when they had DeAndre Hopkins, Taj Boyd, Andre Ellington, that whole train. So my mom, because she remembered that, picked Clemson to win it all. So for her sake, I'll go with Clemson here. I have Arizona in my Final Four, so it's really a toss-up for me. But just for some juice, I'll go with Clemson plus 7.5.
I remember watching an old Clemson football game at your house. You had the Clemson hoodie on, the Clemson hat on.
Yep.
But I think this is where Clemson's, I guess you could call it a Cinderella run. I know they're a 6 seed, but no one thought they'd be here. Everyone had New Mexico in the first round. This is where it ends. Arizona coming off a week to prepare. Tommy Lloyd's not going to let them lose this game. 6.5 is too low of a number. I think Arizona rolls by 10 plus.
I'm right there with you. I got Arizona minus 6.5. They're going to take down Clemson. I wouldn't really call it a Cinderella run. It's tough to call a 6 seed a Cinderella run, but I'm with you. I had New Mexico winning that first round. So, give Clemson some credit. As Matt said, give the big white boys some credit. But I'm going with Arizona. It's destiny for them to match up with UNC in this Elite Eight.
Going with my mom's pick here, dude. I got to take the plus 7.5. I'd be a fraud if I didn't. San Diego State taking on UConn. Rematch of last year's final. Interesting we get to see them match up in the Sweet 16. Might be close in the beginning, dude, but I just don't see. There's nowhere where I'm looking at this matchup and going through the roster and just Leday's good. He's gonna be he's gonna get his buckets, but UConn has the guys to match up against him and to stop him. So I just don't see how UConn doesn't roll in this game and cover whatever 10, 11, 12. They're the better team, better roster. They're going to be able to match up. I got UConn on the spread, 10.5. Give it to me.
I'm right there with you, Matt. I got them 10.5 too. It's gonna be fun to see this rematch. I liked what you said about the beginning of this game being a little bit close with UConn pulling away. I think San Diego might come out with a little bit of fire after getting blown out in that championship last year. So I'm with you there. If whoever's listening, if you think that San Diego is going to win this game or keep it close, maybe bet them on the first half spread or something like that. But I think we're all going to squad ride here on a UConn to cover a big spread, 10 points.
Ryan looks like he has some bullshit he's better spew up his sleeve. So let's see his San Diego State angle.
No, there's no San Diego State angle, but I was just disagreeing with Jack. It's never going to be close. Kristen Newton and Cam Spencer have not turned the ball over. They're creating steals. They've had 5 steals in the tournament. Donovan Clingan had 8 blocks against Northwestern. I know Ladie's a great player, but Klingan's going to lock him up easily. UConn's really fucking good. San Diego State's not very good. We've seen, as much as we love the Mountain West this year, we've seen them just fizzle in this tournament. UConn, they're winning their 9th straight game by double digits.
Utah State lost by 50 or 40 plus to Purdue. And I think UConn is like very much better than Purdue. Yeah. And Utah State's probably better
about the same.
About the same as San Diego State. I mean, so I just, like I said, dude, there's no way in my head I can. The only angle you have is rematch of last year's national championship. That's the only angle you can play here.
It's the revenge factor. But that's
all you could play is revenge factor, which, like, to what Jack and I were talking about, we could see it a little close at first, but UConn, too much talent, very well coached. They're just, it's San Diego State doesn't have enough juice to keep up with them.
Yeah, even with the revenge factor, I mean, you'd think Dan Hurley's not going to be like absolutely enthralled in that pregame locker room, being like, yeah, these guys have the revenge factor, like. They're going to come out hot. We got to match that energy. He's going to be drinking his own piss in the bottle like he always does.
Yeah, and as much as I do not like Dan Hurley, he is a great coach. And they were up by like 30 points, and he was like bitching to the reporter that they weren't playing championship basketball. So the guy's a lunatic. Now we get in, like, those are some bigger spreads. But this one, we jump right into a close one. Alabama versus UNC. The SEC versus the ACC. The ACC has always been very basketball dominant, SEC football dominant. We see both conferences clash here. I would like to lean Alabama on the spread just because they're red hot, but I as Auburn is the same with Alabama, I don't love them at the neutral sites. Oh, this is a tough one to pick, so I'd rather hear how you guys feel about it before I give something out.
UNC.
All right.
Who?
Easy enough.
UNC.
Well, this game is my worst nightmare. This is my Braves versus Phillies. Obviously, Bama, and then my first 8 or so years, I grew up watching basketball. I was a massive Duke fan. So yeah, I hated UNC for the first part of my life, and I'm gonna hate Bama for the rest of my life. So I can't really root for either of these teams here. I guess I hate UNC a little less. Well, actually, I definitely hate them less. But I'm going to bet the under because I hope both teams have a bad time. And it's pretty high at 173.
It was very high at 173. It was right around 170 for the Grand Canyon Alabama game. And I don't even think it sniffed the over.
It was like 131. I think it was 70-61 final.
Yeah. So, like, way off on that over. It is a little more of a favorite. I think you can get it at minus 115 on the under. The over minus 105. So public definitely leaning the under as well, which doesn't bode well.
Yeah, Brian, I don't hate that play. UNC, very well coached team. I think that they know Bama likes to play with some pace, so UNC is gonna look to slow the ball down. Under might not be a bad play here, but I'm going UNC on the spread. I don't care if you want to give me like 8.5 for all I care, but give me UNC.
I like the way Alabama scores the basketball. I'll take the 4.5. I think it does come down to the wire, and even if Bama loses, it'll be by a bucket. So I'll play the plus 4.5. I think they're good enough to win the game. I think UNC has fraud capabilities in them, but at the same time, they are very good. So we'll see what team shows up to play.
I hope Armando Bacot rips off Grant Nelson's stupid mustache. I hate looking at that thing.
Moving on to the big one, the irritating one that starts at probably 10:30 at night in Boston. Illinois at Iowa State. Everyone knows I'm not shy about it. I got Iowa State to win it all. So I think if Iowa State wins and then UConn win, they would face off against each other. So huge San Diego State fan tomorrow. Probably not going to go well, but we'll be rooting for it. Yeah, with that being said, Iowa State money line minus 125, fine value. The 1.5 scares me. It has gotten bet down by the public. This opened up, I think, at 3.5 for Iowa State. Already dropped to 1.5. So the public all over Illinois. Vegas staying strong, favoring Iowa State. Think that bodes well for the Cyclones.
Matt, I don't know if you know this story. I saw it this week, but I think it would be pretty hilarious. So apparently, Brad Underwood was struggling when he had a CBS game. And Jay Wright was covering the game. And after the game, Jay Wright came in and gave him some pointers about how to fix his team. And one of those pointers was to make Dumas play booty ball, kind of like they did with Jalen Brunson back in the day. So ever since that kind of happened, Dumas has been good. Terrence Shannon's been able to cook, and Illinois has been great. So I'm just thinking here, if Iowa State goes down and it's because of Jay Wright, you think that'd be pretty poetic. So because of that, I'm betting Illinois minus 1.5.
Illinois is plus 1.5.
Yeah, I'll take them minus 1.5.
So, okay. Yeah, I think people still underestimate like Iowa State on defense. Like Illinois is going to struggle to score, and I think we'll see a dogfight.
Well, you guys might have to fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure Illinois is #1 ranked offense, and
Yep.
Iowa State is the #1 ranked defense. So we're going to have a battle here. Best offense, best defense. Who's going to come out on top? The stats also say that Iowa State's offense is better than Illinois' defense. So you would think, so you would think that this, again, to your point earlier, this bodes well for the Cyclones yet again. I'm going to go with them because I believe that defense wins championships, and I'm going to take them over Illinois.
Illinois doesn't play a lick of defense.
Yeah, but Terrence Shannon Jr. is him.
Sometimes you got to have the best player.
This is the game where everyone learns who Tam and Lipsy is.
I think people know who he is.
Nope. Nobody knows. So the first game on Friday, NC State versus Marquette. Dude, like Marquette already showed to be potentially fraudulent. They struggled against Western Kentucky. It was who'd they play in the second round?
Colorado.
That was Colorado should have won that game.
They should have.
I'm not sold on Marquette. Give me NC State plus 6.5. Red hot team.
I think it's a bad matchup for NC State. Kind of all their strengths are Marquette's strengths. Like I just think Tyler Kolek and Cam Jones are a better guard duo than what Horn and Marcel over there. And then Oso inside can kind of lock up DJ Burns. So I just, again, it's the thing where I know NC State's more of a Cinderella than Clemson, but now you have a week to prepare for them. I think this is kind of clock strikes midnight.
Dude, who's locking down DJ Burns?
Oso.
How's that even possible? How's that even physically possible? The man is a unit. An absolute unit. Dude, North Carolina State, they've been an absolute wagon, winning their ACC tournament here. Who's locking down DJ Burns, dude?
It's Oso Ighodaro, or however the fuck you say it. Again, check my pronunciation. But
Ighodaro.
Yeah, that guy.
No,
he's a human joystick.
No, you cannot lock down DJ Burns. This man is an absolute freaking unit. And NC State is a wagon. So give me them plus 6.5. That's going to be my play in this one. I think I'm just going to play it a little bit safe and go with the point spread here.
Let's jump into what's probably my favorite bet of the weekend, and that's going to be Gonzaga plus 5.5. I hate Purdue. I think they're frauds. I'm sick of everybody hyping them up every year. Gonzaga knocked out my Cinderella run. So if you can't beat them, you might as well join them. Give me Gonzaga plus 5.5.
I'm so mad at myself for not taking Gonzaga in this game in the bracket challenge. Because I even said, like, I think these Zags are going to make a run, and then they lost to St. Mary's in that tournament championship game, and I kind of backed off that take. But I should have stuck with it. Shooting 50% in the tournament from three. Like you said, Matt, against McNeese, they didn't miss. They didn't miss in the second round against Kansas. So if they can keep that going, they can win it all. And definitely get by Purdue. I mean, Zach Edey it doesn't matter about Zach Edey and guarding the inside if they can shoot it, make half their threes. And then, yeah, I want to see Ryan Nembhard play against Creighton in the Elite Eight. So that'd be cool too.
Yeah, this is Matt said that this is his favorite bet of the day. This is probably my toughest matchup to gauge. I've been, maybe it's the recency bias, but just the way that Purdue's been blowing out teams, I'm just been pretty impressed with them. And honestly, Edey, who I was hating on all of last year, most of this year, but he has gotten better, and give him credit for that. I'm going to go with the Zags in this one. I don't trust Purdue. I don't trust Edey. And like you said, Brian, this team shoots the freaking lights out of the gym. So give me Gonzaga.
Squad ride right there. Love it. Moving on to the next one. Duke, Houston. Who you got, Brian? Are you in love with your Blue Devils here?
No, I'm actually in love with Houston in this. 4.5 is the wrong number. They should be closer to 6, 7.5. Duke's a bunch of pussies. I mean, everyone says every year that they are, but this year, like, they actually are. And that's not because Jared McCain does TikTok. That's because he's skinny. And they just, like, you saw it with the court storming. They made a scene. And, I mean, as they kind of should, but they don't want to play against Houston's kind of tough defense. And 4.5 is a joke of a number. Houston covers easy.
I'm 100% with you, man. 100%.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. I don't know, and I don't know why the public's all over Duke. Like, what are we missing here with Duke?
Yeah, I don't know. Also, it's not like they're that close, but it is the same state. The game's in Dallas. So they're
look, to play some devil's advocate here, I mean, Houston is coming off of a game where they barely won in OT, had to play extra minutes, had 3 guys foul out. I mean, there's a lot of adversity, a lot of, maybe people are tired, but you could also look at that in the other light and say, look, they had to face all that crap and still pulled out a W. And say what you want about the refs. I know I've always wanted to complain about the refs, but it seemed like the refs wanted Houston out of that game, is what I'll say. And they still got the job done, unlike my Auburn Tigers. So I think Houston faced the adversity already. And if they're playing Duke in this one, I mean, let's see what the refs do. If they're going to foul 3 Houston's guys out again, they may not be so lucky this time. I'm going to go with Houston, though.
That 2 back-to-back squad rides?
Yeah, back-to-back squad rides on there. Houston has just been the team to beat all year, right up there with UConn. Duke has shown to be fraudulent all year. And like Brian said, they are a bunch of little bitches. So that's what I got there. I'll roll with Houston as well. Basically a home game for them. I mean, I don't know how far Dallas is from Houston, but it's hell of a lot closer than Duke and wherever they are in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's closer.
3 hours. It's not that far.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's like Auburn and Nashville. And you saw their home field or home court there.
Yeah, they traveled very well for that, but we'll see what happens. Where's this game at? The final one of the Sweet
Detroit.
16. Creighton versus Tennessee.
Yeah, it's Detroit, so a little bit of home court for Creighton.
That's a huge advantage for Creighton and a good way to lead it off because I love Creighton plus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm all over Creighton money line. Hey, Baylor, Trey, Ryan, look at me. I know you watch the show. I've been betting on you every year. Every year I pick you to go far in the tournament, and every year you've gotten 1 step closer. This is the year you get over the hump. I'm sick of Vescovi. I'm sick of Ziegler. I'm sick of Dalton fucking Connect. Win the game.
Yeah, I'm on Tennessee, boys. Sorry. I still think Dalton Connect.
As an Auburn SEC guy, Brian.
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
look, Look, man.
It's not like that.
I'm not gonna let us squad ride this one. We just went 2 in a row. We're not doing 3. You know me, I love the SEC. There's only 2 teams left, Tennessee and he who shall not be named. So give me Tennessee to be that team that makes it further than the other guys. Okay, that needs to happen. They can't hang their hats on that. Auburn gets the SEC championship. They don't get shit. Okay, give me Tennessee.
Well, there you have it. That's a Sweet 16 from the views from Section 400. Looking to go red hot against the board this weekend because weren't so red hot last weekend. Again, apologies for the disaster, but what goes down must come up. Does that work out? Either way, it works because we can't be that bad again. I'm convinced there's no way we can be that bad again. Obviously going to do a live show on Saturday to preview the Elite Eight. We'll go over a little bit. Maybe Brian can join that one. We'll see. That's yet to be seen. So all that matters is he got his Waffle House order, right? But yeah, that's kind of
Waffle House.
Let's pick our final 4 real quick for the one time, and then let's move off of college basketball. Right?
What you got?
Hit us with it, dude.
Me first.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got Mr. Back-to-back, UConn coming out of the East, Houston out of the South, UNC out of the West, and Tennessee out of the Midwest.
I'm going to go chalk with UConn and Houston. Give me Arizona and give me Gonzaga.
So, even though I said Clemson.
Oh, shit. Wait, Creighton. Not Gonzaga. Give me Creighton.
Maybe fade Brian's Creighton pick here, everybody. As you just saw something from the heart. But yeah, I'll go. I mean, even though I said Clemson plus 7.5, strictly because my mom has them winning it all, which is not going to happen. But some magical way, she predicted that. Not really. She just did it because that's who I rooted for growing up. But I got Arizona in the Final Four. I got UConn in the Final Four. I got Houston in the Final Four. And then obviously Iowa State's winning it all. So that's my Final Four. You heard the other two's Final Four. Let us know in the comments below who you got in the Final Four. Are you on par or in line with who?
You missed
Matt, yeah, Matt, I think you said UConn.
Yeah, you said UConn and Houston. Or you said Houston and Iowa State.
No,
Houston,
UConn.
Iowa State, UConn, and Arizona.
No, UConn and Iowa State are in the same region.
Yeah.
It has to be Arizona.
It's Arizona and then either Creighton, Purdue, Gonzaga, or Tennessee.
I guess it would be easier if I had this pulled up. So,
you're Iowa State, Houston, UConn, and then pick Purdue, Creighton.
No, not UConn. No, he has.
Brian doesn't even fucking know.
You guys are fucking idiots.
I'm just trying to delay.
It's Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, and then the other region.
A Midwest team.
Yeah, so Iowa State,
Houston.
Arizona,
Yep.
Houston,
Okay.
Gonzaga.
There you go.
Thank you. Well done. Well done.
All right, so now jump into a little bit of NFL talk here after some college basketball obviously dominating the month of March, but can't leave out all the major sports. We had the NFL League New Year start, so all those free agent deals finally pushed through. But I'll leave it over to Brian because I'm pretty sure he had some huge NFL news that he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, just very, very quick before I get into NFL, some breaking news. Draymond Green just got ejected in the first 3 minutes of the game for the second time this season.
Who did?
Draymond Green. Second time this season he's been ejected within the first 3 minutes of a basketball game. So clearly the therapy sessions did not teach him anything.
Is he going to get like a huge suspension now?
Dude, I don't know. He's out of his mind. Therapy does not work. It's not good to talk about your problems all day.
Dude, every time he would come back from these suspensions, he just like, it's the same player. Like there's no It's just like he's just has not changed. So
No,
news.
he's a vet. You don't teach an old dog new tricks. All right, it's not happening. He's gonna retire before he stops being Draymond.
That's a great way to put it.
You don't teach an old dog new kicks.
I guess.
I'm lost.
I think that was really, really weak.
It was really bad.
Was that just like a really weak joke, Brian?
Yeah.
It's okay.
My brain's still coming.
It's okay. We still love you.
Should we talk some NFL?
Let's go into the NFL here, dude. That's what everybody cares a lot about. I guess, like I said in the intro before I got interrupted by Draymond getting tossed from another game, Brian, what is the huge NFL news you'd like to go over?
Well, I know there's some new rules. So the kickoffs are changed forever. We have the XFL kickoff that's been put in place. Also, defenders now can't hit people high and they can't hit people low. They got rid of the hip tackles. So I'm interested to hear.
Wait, hold on. I want to go back to the kickoff thing. It just starts at the 20 now?
It's a whole bunch of nonsense. So let me see if I remember this all correctly. So they'll start 10 yards apart in two lines on their own 25. The offense will be on their own 25. The defense will be on their own 35. They can't move until the kicker, who's still in the same spot he's always in, kicks the ball. If it goes into the end zone, the opposing offense starts on the 35. If it's caught, it's just a return. If it bounces in the landing zone and is not returned, it's a dead ball, like it is a punt, and the landing zone is from the 0 to the 10. And if it bounces into the end zone, it's a normal touchback.
Dude, that is somebody's going to mess that up.
It's very complicated.
Look, special teams are going to have to work harder this year than they have in years past to learn an entirely new system. It's going to be interesting. I think pretty much the only thing that I've taken out of this, and it's definitely not the biggest thing that you should worry about, but those guys like Devin Hester, the super tall, long, downhill guys, I don't think that's who you're looking for in a return man anymore. Everybody's going to be so right next to each other. You're going to need somebody that's shifty, left, right, lateral movement. Probably guys like a Darren Sproles from back in the day. That's probably going to be your type of returner that you want in this sort of situation. But it's going to look so weird. It's going to take a little while to get NFL fans adjusted to.
Yeah, and then not that these happen very often, but there'll be no more surprise onside kicks. Like the kicker dragging the ball and trying to recover it himself.
Yeah. Yep. No more Sean Payton. The only way Sean Payton wins a Super Bowl is, other than having the best quarterback of all time, is with a crazy surprise onside kick.
You're never going to die on that Drew Brees take.
No, I won't. No.
But anyway, special teams doesn't need a whole segment. I do want to get into the new hip tackle, because why don't they just play flag football?
Yeah, I don't know where you're supposed to hit them now. You're just going to have to start breaking ribs because you can
How
only
do you
hit them.
control that as a defender?
I think
you don't want to spear guys in, reckless, that whole thing, but dude, what? Put more pads on. That's what you do. You wear pads in football. Now you see these guys running around with no pads on. It's their own fault. And now you're going to penalize the defender again?
You guys,
it's ridiculous. It's a joke.
Are you guys talking about the hip drop tackles?
Yeah, it's more like they can't go off their feet when they're tackling them, right?
It's basically wrapping someone up, which is what you're supposed to do. And then instead of driving them down or, try to throw them to the ground, you would basically just give out your body weight, let your feet go out from under you, use your body weight to just basically rip them down.
Yeah, but that's
growing up playing football, that's exactly how I was taught. The tackle form that, at least I growing up, and I'm sure a lot of other people growing up, was hit. They would call it the hawk
tackle, yeah,
where you wrap and bring them down with your weight. I mean, that you grow up learning that technique, and now It's because these players don't wear pads. When you grew up, you wore a girdle, you had knee pads, you had thigh pads. Now they wear just the pants, and there's nothing or very minimal padding, and that's why you're seeing these guys get a lot more injured. And I don't agree with it. Don't play the game.
I mean, it's definitely shifting from. I mean, if you look at let's just look at like the linebackers, right, from last decade to this one. You look at a Ray Lewis, a Brian Urlacher. These are giant, freakishly big men. And then you go look at like the new age linebacker, the coverage linebacker. Like, I mean, Fred Warner's still pretty big, but Fred Warner is not that big compared to the other guys I mentioned. You know, Miles Jack, me as a Jaguars fan, that's who I always think of as that coverage middle linebacker. But that's the kind of linebacker, hybrid linebackers that you're seeing nowadays. The size difference is insane. I mean, I feel like the people are smaller, they're faster, they're quicker. The Tyreek Hills, you know, everybody's getting more into the entertainment side of it, softer, explosiveness. It's no longer about the hard hitting grittiness.
Just wait till Josh Allen tackles somebody next year and you get a fucking 15-yard penalty for it.
I don't love the rule. Look, they did it for player safety. They did it for player safety. I saw a couple people talking about it on Twitter. You're obviously in the JJ Watt camp where we're like, why don't we just switch to flag football? Might as well fast track it. And then there's other players, you know, Kenyon Drake, a running back who probably got hit by this tackle a million times in his career. But he was saying that he got hit by one of these, broke his ankle, was out for like 2 months. He's happy that this rule's in play. He said it's going to keep guys healthier. I know Geno Smith missed some time because it happened to him last year. So I understand it, look, from a player safety standpoint, but me as a fan, I hate it. Don't get me wrong, I hate it. It's going to be more flags, more reviews, more TV timeouts because plays are under reviews. I mean, look, they get what they want. They get player safety, so the guys on the big contracts don't get hurt as often, and they also get more ad revenue for more TV timeouts. I mean, it was a no-brainer that this was going to get passed.
Yeah, I mean, those flags that get thrown can now be reviewed. They are reviewing roughing the passers and unnecessary roughnesses.
So they took away the pass interference challenge, but now they're allowing them to do this kind of review. Is this NFL makes the call on the review, or each individual coach can challenge?
It will be like an automatically reviewed thing after every roughing the passer, and it'll just be quick, is what my understanding is, or what the goal of it is. I hope it's not 5 minutes reviewing every roughing the passer, because that would take a while.
So you know what that means. We're gonna get a lot more. No, we're gonna get a lot more Gene Steratore and Dean Blandino. A lot more.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, imagine the drinking game for when Gene comes along to help the crew next year. Oh my.
He's gonna be on every other play. They just gotta make that guy an announcer at this point.
I hope he's getting paid like one, because he's getting a lot of airtime every week.
He gets a lot of airtime. So we kind of touched on it in my winner of the week. Will Smith getting his bag of money, 10-year, $140 million for the Dodgers. Obviously, a pretty ridiculous contract for him. You know, we have opening day. I guess as you're watching this, opening day will be first pitch will be in a couple hours as games start at 1:00 and go all day. Brian got into how he hates rain delays. Obviously, the Phillies and the Mets moved to Friday, which they have that buffer day in there anyway, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference. If anything, we get a now more traditional 3-game weekend series, which I personally like a little better. But yeah, that's kind of how it's going to start out. What kind of predictions do we have for the season? Are there any over/under futures that we can give out before the season starts?
Well, I wanted to do my Mets opening day prediction on the podcast first before I tweet it out to the people. For those who don't know, I'm like 0 for my last 10. I think I started it. It's either 2013 or 2014. And of course,
it's basically Brian just being delusional, saying the Mets are going to win the World Series.
Hey, 2015, I was pretty close. I said they beat the Cubs and the Dodgers in the playoffs. I said it the wrong way, but they did. Didn't have the Royals in the World Series, and then the Royals kicked my ass for it. But you know what? I'll just save it for Twitter because Steve Cohen's a dick and didn't put a roof on the stadium.
So go check it out on Twitter. Brian's delusional Mets prediction. Put it this way: the Phillies have a better shot of winning the World Series than the Mets do, and that's just
The Mets have the highest payroll in baseball, and they have a 24% chance to make the playoffs. It's so sad.
that tells you everything you need to know that's going on up in Queens. Couple little like pre-major or pre-opening day news, like Yankees acquired John Birdie from trade. Shohei Ohtani, is he playing tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, he'll be out there. This isn't going to hold him back.
Yeah, he'll play.
I don't even. Is he going to get suspended?
No. They can't afford to have him be suspended.
No.
Can barely afford to operate the league as it is.
Yeah, I mean, all that extra money from like the international audience, especially, Asia and then more specifically Japan, they just can't afford to just let that go.
No.
They use the fall guy and the interpreter. They have their villain, their blame, and everything moves on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a beat the streak to give the people.
Ohtani. No, Bogarts. Xander Bogarts.
Xander Bogart. Who are they playing?
Doesn't matter.
Well, Xander Bogaerts one of my favorite players in the MLB.
Another sock that got away.
Had a year settled in with San Diego. Went 4 for 9 in that Korea series.
Damn.
He's locked in.
He's off to a hot start.
He's locked in. Or he could go Luis Ariz. Double down. Bogarts and Luis Ariz.
I mean, you might as well double down, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. But start opening day off hot. Luis Ariz, Xander Bogarts. That's my beat the streak.
I'm going to go with Freddie Freeman.
Well, there you have it. Not much MLB news, obviously, until the season actually kicks off. We'll lose Brian there for a second.
Fantastic.
And get him right back on the board. But yeah, that's the Views from Section 400 podcast, the flagship show that we do here weekly, twice a week. Winners and losers, Michaels of the week, and everything else in between pertaining to the world of sports. Uninterrupted sports conversation, as always, until the ads come. I'm Matt. Jack and Brian always along for the ride. I'll catch you on the next one. Let's go Cyclones.
Cam Coleman's winning the Heisman next year.
You are now in the mix with DJ Savage.
What?
All right, let's fucking end this shit.